This Audi S5 needs some serious help, and today we're gonna fix it. This is my sister's and her husband's Audi S5. They have had this car for a few years by now, but lately the engine has been a ticking time bomb, and now I think it's time to do something about it. This car has 3-liter V6 direct injection engine, and it has two main issues. First of all, it has a tick. Usually these engines are in general very ticky because of the direct injection and the high pressure fuel pump sitting at the top of the engine. But from factory they also have a problem with the rockers. And another problem is that it has some very slight metal shavings in the oil filter. Because of the shavings, at first thought, I thought it's gonna be a problem with the bearings, but after inspecting the shavings, they're not the typical bearing wear shavings. They are very small aluminum shavings. And after doing a fair amount of research on this engine, I found the culprit, or at least I think so. The way that this V6 engine works, it has 2 camshafts on each side of the engine, so total 4 camshafts. And the timing chain sits at the back of the engine. So right here, this is the cover for the timing chain. And each camshaft has a timing chain sprocket. Now, the sprocket from factory comes as an aluminum unit. And the chain comes as not aluminum, well, the standard metal. I'm not sure what material it is, but standard. What ends up happening when the engine has driven more than for example, 100,000 kilometers, is the timing chain starts kind of eating up the camshaft sprockets. And then they start letting out very small shavings. This problem is very popular in the Audi community, and people have driven with this problem for many thousand kilometers, even 60,000 miles I have read. So that wouldn't really be too big of an issue. But then if we talk about the other problem that this engine has, is the rockers. The rockers from factory come, well, not defect, but they aren't that good, and they have these ball bearings in it, and after many kilometers they kind of break, and then they cause a massive tick, and if you don't replace them soon enough, the engine can go kaboom. But if I start the engine right now, it has a tick, which I'm pretty sure is from the rockers, because the tick kind of sounds like it's from this side, while the high pressure fuel pump sits right here. And that's completely different kind of tick. And in order to replace the rockers, you either have to drop the engine down, or you can do it with the engine still in the car and disassemble everything at the top. And as you guys see, I'm not in my usual environment, so I don't have the access to all my tools, so I would prefer not to pull the engine out and do the repair while the engine is still in the car. But to replace the rockers, we have to remove the camshafts completely together with the valve cover. And as we're doing that, we might as well replace the camshaft sprockets so they don't wear and let out any more shavings. If you're talking more about the car, it's a US spec 2018 S5, and the engine code is EA839. This engine sits in S5s, S4s, in a few different Porsches, such as the Macan, and probably some Volkswagens as well. I'm not too sure. This car has 115,000 kilometers, so it's not too much, to be honest. I have seen these engines run for over 200,000 miles. As long as we replace the rockers, if that's the problem, and I really hope so. So first order of business is to pull this thing into the garage and basically remove everything at the top of the engine, basically the valve covers, and inspect the state of the rockers. These engines were apparently improved after 2019, so from 19 and up they have the updated kind of rockers, which this doesn't. We can compare the rockers later, as well as we have a very good upgrade and a cheaper solution for the original camshaft sprockets. So now let's go and pull the car inside the garage. First thing that I'm doing is just removing anything that could be in the way. So the engine trims, the airbox, and all the different kind of pipes. We have pretty decent place here now, but first thing that is most in the way right now is the charge pipe. So we need to remove 3 bolts here 3 bolts in the other side, and then 1 in the middle. Good thing is that these bolts don't fall out. They are kept inside the pipe. So this one is off. Then we have some harder to reach bolts here. That's cool, dumbass. Seems like to remove the intercooler pipe, I have to remove this one. Okay. The way you take it out is you put it over like that. And pull it out. That was pretty freaking annoying. Now it's the wiring loom and the ECU. So the wiring loom is like loose, so you can put it inside here. And then we have good access to the valve cover. And then it's this wiring loom, which seems to be even worse, to be honest. Okay. I think that should be fine. There's one more cable going down, but I think this should be fine for the job that we're gonna do. Now I want to do the high pressure fuel pump, and I'm not sure if there's any pressure in it or not. I put this on to cover up the fuel supply so nothing falls in and stuff. Then is the standard Volkswagen sockets. What is this, 12 point? So we have a lot of it disassembled, and what we have left is basically remove the coils, injectors, and then we can pull off the whole thing. The way timing is set is behind these covers. These covers, they sit to here, so you need to remove that to remove the valve cover. And here are some of the pipes. One aluminum coolant pipe, that one, it goes around, and then this fuel pipe. I thought I was gonna need to remove them, but since they are like aluminum, I can slightly push them to the side, like lightly bend them. And it seems that I should be able to get it off. I want to get that off before we start removing the injectors and stuff, because I'm not sure how much we need to disassemble everything. And right now the back cover seems to be the hardest thing to remove. This one has a lot of space here, so this side is no problem. That side is the most hardest one, it seems. Now I'm kind of just removing the bolts. It's not too bad when you put your hand under the downpipe, and then you can just remove the bolts, because this one is actually a coolant pipe as well, and I don't want to remove the coolant pipe because then we have to, well, drain the coolant. I have removed all the bottom bolts now, only 3 at the top left. That's the cover plate. Then I will do the same on the other side. like that. Beautiful. Now we need to start working on towards removing the valve covers. So first thing, it's the injectors, well, together with the rail. Seems like we have to remove this joint here. Oh, I forgot. First, actually, it's the coils. I didn't even think about that. That's how the coil looks. That's the rail. I'm not sure what that is. This is some kind of sensor, I think. So the injectors on this car is very similar to the BMW N54 setup. So to do anything with the injectors, you need a special toolkit, which looks like that. You could grab it with pliers and pull it out, but not ideal because then you can damage the injector ports, which can lead to misfires and other problems. So first of all, there's many toolkits that we're going to use. But right now we're going to use just this light hammer with this adapter just to remove the injectors. So first of all, there are these metal brackets here that you have to remove, like that. Then you need to remove the O-rings from the injectors for the tool to slide on properly. We're going to replace all the gaskets anyway, so just like that. Then we take the little slide hammer and we slide it over the injector and then give it a few taps. That's it. And that's how the injector looks. You can see there is a Teflon seal on the bottom, which has to be replaced when reinstalling. Probably the injectors has to be coated to the car, so don't swap the places around. There is some dirt now in the ports, but we'll have to vacuum that out. Even more dirt flying around. The way you lock the camshafts is you lock them from this side, so you need to remove these bolts and remove the little caps. The other side works a similar way, just there's one cap and the lower one there's the vacuum pump, so we have to remove the vacuum pump unit. Now I should be able to pull it off, and I am. Then we need to remove the oil filler like unit. Is there more bolts? I don't think so. Doesn't look too bad. The way these engines work is when you undo the valve cover and remove it, it comes out together with the camshafts. So the camshafts are bolted down to the rocker cover, the valve cover. So now we need to undo the sprocket bolts and take off the sprockets so they're free from the chain. So first order of business, we have to lock the engine in TDC, and for that I have a engine locking tool that looks like that. You can lock this engine in two different ways. One is on the flywheel under the intake manifold, so you can go from under and lock it there, or you can lock it on the vibration damper in the front, so you lock that into the block. That's why there are two different locking pins. So one is for the flex plate and one is for the vibration damper. I think this one is for the vibration damper, because I think that should be easier for us at least. Now I locked the crankshaft quite hard because there's so little place, but I found a picture of how it looks just like that. The pin is exactly in the middle, horizontal, and there's thread, so I managed to do it from that side, hand in, and barely put it in. Because the injectors are out, I turned the engine over using a wrench on the camshaft. Not recommended to do, but since the injectors are out, there's no compression and it's very easy to turn the engine over. Then to lock the camshafts, there's 2 plates in the timing toolkit and a bunch of adapters like that. So using the holes in the ends, you fit the adapters in like that. Both exhaust cams, they are 5, so each of these adapters have numbers. So exhaust cam is this, and on the passenger side the intake is 7. Then you take a plate like that with A for the passenger side, with the letter A pointing forward for the passenger side. Basically just put it my bad, there are these, firstly these things go in, the little adapters slash spacers, and then we use the little bolts to screw it into the spacers. Now the camshafts are locked, and before we remove camshaft sprockets, I will compress the tensioner and plug it up with a nail. So now I kind of retracted and I just put in a nail just the way it comes from the factory when you buy new tensioners. So now the chain is loose. The way the camshaft sprockets work is you need 2 tools. So this tool like that. With this you hold kind of the sprocket itself, and then there's a bolt in the middle, so you need a special socket. These things, they usually come with the timing tool, so we need to put it on, hold it with a pipe, then take one more breaker bar, put it inside like that, and as we're holding this one, we're gonna break this one loose. The thread on these bolts are standard, so here I have a pipe that fits exactly over like that. The bolts are these hydraulic bolts, so one is out. Okay, one sprocket is off. So you can see this is the exhaust one, and we can see exactly the corners here. The lip is very worn. So there's like small chunks missing all the way around the sprocket. Small chunks on this side. This side is a bit better. There's also, you can see it's worn a lot. It's same with the intake one. Then we gotta do this side too. Okay. This one we can see is worn as well. Here you can see it. There's pieces, chunks missing. And same thing on that. And now finally we can remove the valve cover. Don't remove them completely, just loosen them, because if you do remove them and hit the valve cover so it frees up, it might shoot out because it holds all the valve springs and everything in place. Okay. At first sight it doesn't seem too bad, but I can clearly see the rockers are shot, at least some of them, but we can see the play in it. Now I just took a random one at the top. Usually it's the top that gets worn the most. Many people say it's because of the oil. There's more oil at the bottom because it all goes down, and at the top they get more wear. But look at that. And I see that this is the old type that they replaced after 2019. Here for instance I have the new one, and you can see how big the bearings is here, and there's no play. And here you can see how small the bearings are in comparison and the amount of play here. So this has failed. This has fully failed, and this was the reason for the ticking. But it doesn't seem to be that bad to the point that there's any more damage to it. Now let's remove this side. How does it look here? Yeah, this side bad as well. That's crazy. If you're running a car with bad rockers, just like this one, it can cause the camshafts to be destroyed on the lobes. All of them look good except one. One has minimal wear, mostly visual, but you can barely feel it with your finger. But I don't think that's that bad that you couldn't run it. I think it should be fine. And the driver's sides, all of them seems to be perfect. No damage at all. So that's very good. Now, as we already compared, this is the old school and this is the new school rocker. You can see there's no play in the new one. And the bearings is much bigger. The old one, massive play, massive. It's good that we are doing this, to say the least. The bottom ones, just as I said, are actually pretty good. So on this side, it seems that one had failed. Yeah, the rest ones are actually good. It's actually impressive that they didn't draw any misfires and codes. Regarding the rockers and all the gaskets and stuff, we're gonna use normal parts. Not original, but good aftermarket ones. But regarding the camshaft sprockets, original units from Audi costs around 460 euros for one, and we need 4 of them. So that quickly becomes a sum of 1,700 to 1,800 euros. But then there is a brand in Poland called Mehenker, and they have a massive selection of their own camshaft adjusters, timing chain kits, then BMW Vanos repair kits, just a massive selection of good quality parts and many different repair kits for Audis, BMWs, Alfa Romeos, all different brands. The problem with Audi camshaft sprockets is that they're made from aluminum, and after many thousand miles they wear. But the brand Mehenker, they have a super good solution for that. So they make their own camshaft adjusters right here. They are already soaked in oil because they test them before shipping them out. And most importantly, while all 4 camshaft adjusters from Audi cost 1,700 euros, these ones cost 960 euros for all 4. As we can see, this one says AUS X, so that means it's the exhaust sprocket. And here it says the Mehenker part code and what engine it's for. So 3-liter TFSI EA839. And you torque it to 120 Newton meters. And the most importantly is that we can see on the camshaft sprocket that it's not made from aluminum and it's not gonna wear and let out shavings just like the normal one does. The way you install them is like the normal unit. Put it on, find the timing and use the standard bolt in the middle, the oil pressure bolt, and just torque it to 120 Newton meters. So we have 4 of them, 2 for exhaust and 2 for intake. If you need the same kind of camshaft adjusters as I got here, or any other parts such as Vanos, electric solenoids, timing chain kits, make sure to check out Mehenker. I will leave the link in the description. And if you have any questions regarding their products, make sure to reach out to them because they have a very good customer support and I'm sure that you will get an answer. As you guys see, we are back in Norway and that's gonna be it for this video. At this point, I have gotten all the parts I need to put the Audi together, such as these things, rockers, gaskets, and all the other stuff that you need. So in the next episode, we will go back and try to reassemble the car once and for all and see how it runs. If you want to support all these builds, make sure to check out EMS Garage Patreon. It's in the description. There I upload updates on all the builds and early access to the videos. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was kind of different from what we always do, well, BMW. And I hope to see you in the next one.